Good afternoon. I'm so glad to see you guys. And again, please forgive me. We are rolling with this series. I'm so excited about this series because, first of all, I love Girlfriends. Girlfriends is amazing.com. And if you're just joining me and this is your first time seeing it, this is a continuation, episode 6 of the Girlfriend series. It's Lessons from Girlfriends. So I'm essentially combining the Girlfriend series, TV show series, with a series about mental health and relationships, specifically friendships, and group dynamics. So I'm really excited. Hop in here. We're going to get started. So again, my name is Shardé, the therapist. I've been a therapist for about 15 years, and I really, really love the opportunity to educate and explore mental health and psychological health, and then the nuances, not only in the cultural framework, but in general, how that connects to us and how what we watch can be so effective in articulating experiences that we are going through. Same reason why some things connect on TikTok or Instagram or social media in general, including like TV shows that we watch. So I started jumping into our episodes with a question from my conversation, because I don't know why people do tapping that shit. I'm tapping stuff, and I'm tapping. But questions from my conversations card is Take This Shit Personal, the couples edition. So we're going to take a card from the blog, and we're going to read a card. Ooh. What consequence have you suffered because of your pride? I am both scared and excited about that question for a couple reasons. So I will say, as like over it as I am, and as much as I've apologized, I can admit that I've done some things that are really Looney Tunes. So, not saying any names, and this is specifically about friendships. In college, I think I was a senior at the time, my mom bought me a house, and so I had roommates, and my roommates I was cool with. One of them in particular, I just stopped liking her. Why? I don't remember now. I don't think there was anything significant. I don't think there was anything significant other than I just stopped liking her. Maybe it was the way she was. I don't know. I just stopped. And I did some very passive aggressive and directly aggressive mean things to this girl. And my pride, by the time I realized it was wrong, my pride wouldn't let me apologize till I want to say years later, I apologized to this girl. But it not only ruined my relationship with her, she was younger than me, so she was really cool with my sister, and it really impacted their relationship together. So it not only had consequences for me, it had consequences for her. And in all fairness, this girl did nothing to me to warrant the way that I treated her. But at the time, my pride wouldn't let me retract or be accountable. And I'll never forget that, because I know what it feels like to be mistreated. I know what it feels like to be cool with someone one day, and then the next you're like, why are you treating me like this? I remember my freshman year of college, someone I went to elementary and middle and high school with, we became roommates. And what felt like to me, out of nowhere, you don't like me anymore. And we're stuck in a room together our freshman year, maybe the second half of the semester. And we're stuck in a room together. You're not speaking to me. I don't know why you're not speaking to me. I don't know. I don't even understand why, other than our mutual friends kind of saying here and there what's what. And she messaged me and apologized years later. But I know what that feels like. So why I did that, I can't tell you. I still can't tell you. I just know it was foolish. So that was a really good question, especially when we're talking about friendships. So we're going to jump right into it, right? So today's episode is really exciting for a couple of reasons. I really, really like talking about friendships. I believe in beautiful friendships. If you follow me on social media, Instagram or TikTok, today I made a post about friendships and just the value of significant friendships and how they can contribute to our growth and our changing. Um, and that it's really important that we have friends around that care about us, but also are clear on how those friendships contribute to us being better people. So if you get to check that out, follow me at the Barefoot Therapist, 2 T's at the end. And I consistently post about mental health topics. It won't just be about friendship, because I also have an emotional literacy series where I am educating people on feelings, because I also recognize that oftentimes, even in our friendships, people do not know how to articulate their thoughts and feelings. Just putting my focus on. They don't know how to articulate their thoughts and feelings, and it really does contribute to the dissemination of relationships, simply because people cannot say or don't have the language to say, "You hurt my feelings," or they won't let their pride and ego, or their pride and ego won't let them say, "You hurt my feelings. You disappointed me." So that there's possibly an opportunity to reconcile and work through that in the relationship. People choose the all or nothing approach, is either I mess with you or I don't. And if you did something to me, well, here we are. So I'm hoping that that also helps. So we're going to get into it. So we're going to talk about group roles, which I really, really like. And I'm going to use my friend group, one of my friend groups, as an example, but we're specifically going to also use, of course, girlfriends. And I will preface this with, I have varying female groups and individuals that I have significant relationships with. Some, of course, more closer than others, but my best friend, we've been friends since 6th grade. So I have very valuable friendships with women, very long-term friendships with women, and not just with women. I have, of course, long-term friendships with men as well. But I specifically want to talk about women in this particular episode because, of course, we're talking about girlfriends. So in your group, you're going to consistently, for the most part, have these 4 roles filled. You're going to have the peacemaker. Who do you think the peacemaker in Girlfriends was? Lynn. You're going to have the rebel. And this is where this is funny, because it depends on the perspective you have and where you came in on the Girlfriend series that these roles can change. So what I mean by that is, for the most part, Lynn tries to stay out of all the drama between the girls, even though she is the drama half the time, right? Then you have Joan, because you can equally say, well, Joan's the peacemaker. Joan's always trying to get everybody together. Yeah, but Joan has much more of a voice than I think Lynn does. And I also think that Joan is more of a part of the conflict and involves herself more than Lynn chooses to. So I say Lynn is the peacemaker. Then you have the rebel. Now, the rebel, interestingly enough, I think is Maya. I think Maya often is the one who wants to articulate her voice, who wants to fight against the grain and the man. And Maya always has the conspiracy theories and all the things. She appears to be the rebel of the group. Then you have the victim. And this is where I believe Joan comes in. Not that she is helpless and she sees herself as helpless. I think that Joan doesn't always understand her role and her power in the group and sees herself as a victim of everyone else's choices. Not that this is her choice, even if it's something she doesn't like. And then I'm going to use Tony, or put Tony in the role of a leader, because one thing about Tony may be a bit, I hate to use this word specifically because of social media. She may be a bit of a narcissist at times. She may be self-centered. She may be all smoke and mirrors, but she has qualities of a leader, where she is willing to speak up and do her own thing against the grain, even though she really desires to be a part of the group. And she really desires to be validated and seen. However, I think in a lot of ways, Tony has led the group, which then you see the dynamics between Tony and Joan, where Tony is leading and Joan appears to be the victim of Tony's leading, if that makes sense. So we talk about these roles, and all of them are necessary in one way, shape, or form in how things kind of roll. And it doesn't mean it's always present visually or existentially at one time. And then different people can take those roles at different times, because we all grow and change. Whereas I would have said, I think I am certainly the rebel in a lot of my friend groups. I'm the person where I think at times you can put me in the role of a leader. But I am the rebel in that I want to do what I want to do, regardless of what anyone else thinks or how anybody else feels about it. My boundaries are solid. I mean what I say what I mean. I am actively going to pursue what I want to do in cohesion with the group. But if something goes awry or I don't want to participate, I'm not going to, and I'm not going to explain. I'm just not going to do it. And my friends know this about me. And they talk about me and do all the things, whatever. That's just a part of our relationship. They understand. And that's also a part of being the rebel, is that you are willing to go against all odds, including opinions and being liked and being all the things. Now, I will say with the victim can really be very interesting, because they could also appear to be the one that is helpless when they're not helpless at all. This person uses their ability to be inconspicuous and kind of roll in with the group to appear to be this wonderful follower, that they're just a people pleaser. They're just trying to do the right thing. And they could appear to be the peacemaker when in true, peacemakers use their power to make peace, to engage in conflict, to bring two conflicting voices or many together and through confrontations. Whereas victims will isolate, they really struggle with being assertive and confrontational and managing conflict. It will appear to be that they land on one side or another. Either I'm expressly cutting you off, or I am acting like nothing's wrong. It's one or the other. And that's why I said the victim is Joan. By the time she cut Tony off, it was an all or nothing situation. This had not been a lead up. She had not consistently provided or managed her boundaries with Tony well enough. So by the time that she cut her off, she was done. And again, the victim, as if she was the victim of Tony's behavior, even though she enabled it over time. The leader is different from the rebel in that the leader has a vision, not just for herself, but for the group, that she is actively putting forth interests and ideas and like guiding them in a direction, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay. Good, bad, or indifferent. She is actively pouring direction and giving the group purpose and intention and all the things. So I certainly would say Tony leads in that area. Excuse me. Sometimes when you have groups that have settled into those particular roles, they struggle with individual growth. And how am I, if I outgrow this particular role, will I fit in this group anymore? Will they still like me? Will they still want me to be a part? If I decide that I'm no longer a victim and I am speaking up for myself and articulating myself and following around with boundaries, will it break up the group? And as you can see, when Joan decided to speak up, it broke up the group, not because she decided to speak up, but because it was all or nothing. Because instead of managing it better over time, by the time that she got on the side of having boundaries seriously and standing firm in them, it was too late for it to balance or manage. It had to be all or nothing for her. which then led a split, because what you're doing now coincides with my role as the leader. And I no longer want to have to manage this person who I had more, at least appeared to have more power over. And this person is now taking away all of that power. It's all of those things happening. And then when you have this group where everybody is just trying to survive, they may do very well together. And then when the shift happens and the transition happens where people are growing and changing and being better and getting more recognition and all, then you see where the group goes from there. Are we all friends because we're at the same station in life? And when people start to grow, change, and all the things, are we able to still maintain this friendship and support each other in our growth and challenge each other to grow? Or do we separate because we are uncomfortable with these new roles and experiences of each other? That's a really difficult conversation to have, but necessary. It's interesting because my best friend and I were talking, and we were talking about how she brought up a beautiful point, and she was just saying how she appreciated me for challenging her, calling her out on her things, and not pacifying her, not just tolerating her and just deciding not to be friends with her, versus acknowledging and accepting who she is and how she is, but also challenging her on the things that were not okay and being willing to confront her and have conflict and us love each other through all those things, because she's certainly done the same for me. But I think that requires maturity. I think that requires emotional intelligence and awareness. I think that it requires an openness to criticism and correction, and seeing it through love, not that somebody's trying to tear you down. And that requires trust and respect in relationships. And oftentimes people get so diverted by their fragile ego and pride that they can't accept love through criticism or love through correction. But we all need that in order to be a better version of ourselves. And I think as a good friend, as someone who is actually your friend, you have to be able to have confrontation and conflict and move through it. It's necessary. All right, we're going to pause real quick, and I want to share something special with you. Check it out.
Meet Sifted, the AI-powered life operating system designed to bring clarity, focus, and control to everything you do. Tasks, goals, calendar. Sifted brings it all together into one intelligent command center. Plan smarter with powerful task and goal management. Got thoughts, ideas, or mental clutter? Just drop everything into Mind Laundry and let AI instantly organize it into clear, actionable items. Manage every venture from one intelligent business hub with Sifted. Create, organize, and scale your operations with clarity and efficiency. Meet Vera, your built-in AI assistant. From planning and brainstorming to scheduling and decisions, Vera helps you move faster and think clearer. Sifted works across all your devices. Start your plan with flexible and affordable options. Visit sifted.one and start your free 14-day trial today.
I hope you guys check my app out. I developed that app out of love last year. It released this year. It focuses on organization, both in your personal and business life. Please check it out. Let me know what you think below, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. All right, we're going to pause here. We're going to get right into Reddit. I told you guys I introduced doing a Reddit story because I really enjoy Reddits. All right. Am I wrong for semi-ghosting a really good friend after she hurt me? First of all, I'm so sorry for the long post. I just wanted to give more information for more objective picture. Me, 28 female, and my previously close friend, 28 female, met during school about 9 years ago. We were pretty close and things were going well. During our university years, 6 or 7 years ago, we went to different universities. And during this period, we had a conflict where she said I had left her. I knew this to be untrue, as I had never actively left her. But perhaps I did reply slower, less to her messages. I heard her and made an effort to be more active in conversing with her. During this period, she said that she should be one of my first priorities in life, below family. At first, I was shocked by this request, but being me, I just accepted it and tried to live up to her standards. Throughout the years, we had some sort of conflict on and off, mainly with her dissatisfaction of meeting up, calling, FaceTiming. I should preface that with I am a big homebody, and in my perspective, I really try to my best to use my social battery and plan time to meet up with her. Of course, I'm not saying I'm perfect in this. It takes two hands to clap, but I was really burnt out trying to live up to her standards. All of this amounted to 2 years ago, where I was in a deep depression that I did not tell anyone about. I was dealing with work and family stresses, and it was not an excuse, but because of that, I was truly unable to be present for this friend's happy moments and wasn't able to hold conversations. It all came to a head for her, and she sent a long message, and we had a lengthy fight because basically all I remembered was that she believed that maybe it was because she had done a lot of self work and improvement. And now we cannot relate on the same frequency, and that she did not want to hear anything negative about my life anymore. I really did, I really did understand where she was coming from. And she later clarified that it was because she could feel that I had retreated, and it scared her that I left her again, and she didn't know what happened. But I would never say this to a friend who I know I was going through depression. I thought I was the problem. Hence, I went back for extensive therapy to figure out my problem. After 6 months of a lot of anger and resentment, I poured out because while I had done wrong things, I didn't think I was in the wrong. And so for 2 years, I retreated emotionally and physically because I didn't think it was big enough to end the friendship. But I couldn't help but feel anger whenever I saw her. For the life of me, I couldn't forget no matter how hard I tried. We still met occasionally, but I did mostly reject her suggestions for meetups and FaceTimes. While I was overseas for a work trip, she called me where I told her that I have changed and something from our fights did still bother me. But I wasn't mad. I just had harder boundaries now. She took this to mean I wouldn't call her anymore because of my new boundaries. We talked again and recently, at her request, had a very candid conversation. She told me that I basically ghosted her for 2 years and had been a terrible friend. We kind of came to a consistent consensus, but when we speak, I can tell she's being passive aggressive, which she says is some subconscious, and I should just call her out on it whenever she does it to me. But it feels vindictive, and it feels like putting responsibility on me to point out while tolerate this treatment. I feel like we're going in circles, and she still doesn't understand how hurt I was and that I was just totally retreated 2 years ago. For disclosure, I did noticeably retreat, and I didn't tell her about my struggles because after our talk following the fight, I could tell that she had communicated about her boundaries well and that she didn't want me to be negative, to cut off the friendship that I was complaining to her about, etc. So for me, there was no reason to speak again. We clarified miscommunications that we were both thought we didn't want each other anymore. She persistently brings things up, the fact that she was so depressed and it really got bad, but didn't it also for me, but I didn't bring up my own struggles up because I knew better and it would be unfair. So the rest of it, she just talks about why she posted it and all of that. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. This is really interesting because I think there's very many nuances to this. One, yes, people have expectations around engagement, but I will also say as we grow and change and we lose access and proximity to each other, that changes. As we get older and we have other responsibilities, that changes. And it is unreasonable to believe the type of friendship you had in college or university is going to be the same as you have now. I will say that was a significant struggle for me because I would love to say that I'm a friend's friend. I want to show up, I want to talk, I want to text. And fast forward, now that I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, all the things, I don't want to talk. It is like pulling teeth to get me to talk on the phone. I really hate it. I really just genuinely do. It requires too much of my social battery that I already don't have to muster up talking on the phone and even texting at times. So in my friendships, we are clear about where I'm at and what I have to offer. So we don't try to talk on the phone all the time. I do text and say, hey, I'm going through some things, so they know it may be a minute. But if they need me, I'm here. I will certainly be available. But I'm not in a space to, one, initiate, two, talk a lot. So in my friendships, they allow me the space to initiate when I can and respond when I can, and vice versa. If they need me, they know I'm going to pull up, phone or whatever. I'm going to pull up. And there are a lot of times where I quite literally do not have the social battery. I just don't. I do much better through text. I can text much better. And be responsive, even so much as to tell people, hey, got some things going on. Hey, not feeling up to it. Because I think at the end of the day, people just want to know that they're valuable. So part of the disconnect was the communication around being busy. Hey, I'm really busy. Let me just tell you, because not communicating does not take away the fact that the person still has expectations based on ones you set. So when it changes, being able to communicate that it's different and you've got different things going on is important. The other is, some of this feels like the friend has issues with like abandonment and wanting this level of priority that may not exist for her, and that you guys are on two different wavelengths around what she can offer and what you need, because a lot of that feels exhaustive. I was exhausted reading it. So some of that, I would just say there has to be clear boundaries about what I can offer you and what you're looking for. And maybe I don't meet the cut. Maybe I don't meet the cut anymore. And that's okay. Maybe we can be more distant friends. And the other, when she was asking her to like call her out when she's being passive aggressive, I think that's reasonable. Why become resentful and vindictive to me for something I'm doing that you're also unwilling to say, hey, stop, like that was offensive, or you just did it again? Because some of it is at this point very natural, and not that it's solely your responsibility. It is her responsibility to practice some awareness. It's also your responsibility to not let people mistreat you, or they're going to keep doing it. So both, it just sounds like they outgrew each other. And instead of having the conversation about, look, our friendship has taken a different road, we are in two different places about what we can offer each other, it just was this thing of, let's try to still meet in a place that we can no longer meet. And that's a difficult conversation to have, because you want to be able to be present and available for the people you love, but it's not always going to be the same. You evolve and things change. So I will say this is also when loyalty has limitations. Yes, I can still be your friend, but not if it requires me to be somebody I no longer am. I cannot be that version of me for you anymore. And what I can offer is what I am now, or what I have to offer now, not what was. That may not exist anymore. And it's our responsibility to let our friends know when it's changed. And if you've outgrown something, maybe I'm not in that place anymore. Listen, I don't talk to most of the friends I had in high school because we don't have anything to talk about. And that's no disrespect to them. We just are in two different places. I know for me, I barely have the wherewithal as it is, but I certainly am in the space of talking about health and wellness and building something and generational wealth and family. And that's where I'm at. I don't surround myself with drama and who's doing what. So I don't have the time or the capacity to manage all of that. So I just outgrew a lot of my friend groups and friendships, which was okay. I struggled with feeling guilty about that, until I recognized that they understood it too. They weren't calling me, I wasn't calling them. And it works both ways. And we can reconcile it if we need to. But there are times where no words need to be said. It just kind of disseminates all on its own, and it works out beautifully. But I hope that you do practice healthy dynamics with your friends, healthy engagements, and that you all feel comfortable enough to say, hey, that's not cool, because that's what is required in safer friendships. Safety and security also require the ability to manage difficult things. So I hope this was helpful. Please follow me on social media, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.